It's a funny part of living in a city that we sometimes forget. Humanity has always looked to the stars in wonder. We observe the cyclical changes between Earth and sky in an attempt to not only understand the what of the universe, but also the why. It's the mystery of other worlds and the possibilities of what they possess that represent the magnitude of the things we don't even know that we don't know. Astronomy was considered the culmination of 4 ancient Greek disciplines that were called the quadrivium, which were ways of understanding the relationship of number to the natural world and a sort of proof that there is an overarching rationality to the universe as a whole. And the 4 disciplines were mathematics, which was pure number, geometry, which was number in relationship to space, music, which was both number in relationship to time, rhythm, and number in relationship to itself through ratios, which is harmony. And then there was astronomy, which was a combination of all of the above, which is the moving bodies of the planets, number in relationship to both time and space and one another, the music of the spheres. Astronomy took on a mystical significance, the physics of the planets translating to our everyday lives as a way of understanding the microcosm of our existence. We could look inward by looking up and understand how what we saw played out on the big stage could be echoed within us. What then is inner astronomy? I wouldn't be the first person to make a parallel between the microscopic world and the organization of the cosmos, right? Protons orbiting around atomic nucleus and striking similarity to the planets around the sun. And while Randall Pease, the poet of tonight's work, had a deep love for both the grandeur and minutiae of the natural world, I don't think he was referring to cell biology or particle physics when he named this set of poems. Rather, I think inner astronomy refers to the tracking of the orbit of internal change, the inner workings of the self, the disappointments and the triumphs, what we lose and how we are reborn. Randall Pease wrote these poems that are used in this work during a drawn-out and difficult period of his life when he was wrestling with addiction and depression, recovery, and hope. All the darkest and lightest parts of who we are as people. And in these poems, Randall wrote a great deal about the ego and his personal struggles against his own, and using his creative work to look past self-doubt and shame in search of that bright burning star, that mystery at the center. And I don't think this is unique to Randall. I think it's an inherent part of the human being to wrestle with the contrast between our internal misgivings and the profound love we can have for the external world, the vastness of nature, the creativity of the human spirit, and of course, the love of our friends and family. And I say this next part with the overconfident authority of a new father. But one of the most confusing aspects, I think, of parenthood is how our inner orbits suddenly expand and become a binary of stars that circle around one another. And I think the confusion comes because of how brightly that new star seems to burn, obscuring even one's own. It's an absolute wonder to look at your children and see so clearly that perfect, shining goodness at the center of a human being, and try to reconcile that with our own shame and self-doubt. How can something so good come from something so flawed? How can we reconcile the difference between how we experience the inner and the outer worlds? And I think for many of us, certainly for Randall, religion and creative practice are ways of moving outside of ourselves, a way to look back at who we are with the same clarity and compassion that we see others. And by the end, he found peace through forgiveness, not the kind that comes from an external source, but inner redemption, the kind where you stop punishing yourself by putting up walls and allow the light to come back in. Tonight's concert is many things. It's a ritualistic concert experience. It's the premiere of a new work. And it's also a memorial of sorts to Randall, who passed away 5 years ago this week. The loss of a family member is devastating, and we never really stop mourning them. And here's what's also true. No parent wants to outlive their children. I think the luckiest of them, however, live long enough to see their children take flight and know that one star in that binary continues to burn after we are gone. I can't think of a greater way to honor a parent than by taking their creation and making it the foundation of your own. It's a statement that says, this is part of our ongoing work to build a more thoughtful and loving world. I think such art becomes a declaration of who we are by acknowledging where we come from and how that shapes the path ahead. It's a way of forgiving ourselves and redeeming our past so we can more easily look beyond the orbiting detritus of our lives and catch a glimpse of that fiery center, a self which is true, beautiful, and abiding.